Hello and welcome to 16th video of Google Ads series where we teach you from beginners to expert level in Google Ads. In this video, we are going to talk about app campaigns within Google Ads. Now, this is probably the most straightforward campaign type in Google Ads, but this is a bit tricky. There's just a few things to understand, but you need to understand them completely in order to run as successful app campaigns. So let's start, and first let me tell you what app campaigns are. When you run campaigns in Google Ads and your objective is to promote a certain app, let's say for example if you are working for Amazon. Now most of the advertising Amazon does to kind of promote their app so that more and more people install their app, right? Or sometimes if, for example, let's say you have Amazon app on your mobile and you see an ad of Amazon and you click on it, you directly go to the Amazon app. Let's say for example you saw a Black Friday Amazon ad on Facebook. You click on it, you directly go to Amazon app and you go to the page where they show you offer. In the second case as well, Amazon, obviously the objective of that ad is to make you buy something from the Black Friday sale, but through their app, right? So basically app campaigns are when an advertiser wants to promote their app so that more and more people install the app, or people who already have the app, they use the app, right? It doesn't have to be Amazon. Even if it's a game, let's say for example I have Candy Crush game on my phone, or the other person, he does not have the app, so they will see an ad. Once they click on it, they go to the App Store or Play Store, whether they have Android or iPhone, and they are prompted to install the app. So the advertiser as Candy Crush, their objective is to make more people install their app, right? In my case, because I already have the Candy Crush app, I still see sometimes the ads, let's say, and when I click on the ad, I'm redirected to the Candy Crush app. So the objective of the advertiser is that I have the app, but I'm not using it very often, to make me again engage with the app. So basically, whenever the objective is to increase the installs of an app or make people engage with the app if they already have it, those kind of campaigns are called app campaigns. The one thing you need to understand is you can promote apps on Google Ads through app campaigns only for Android apps and for iOS apps. Let's say for example your app is listed on Huawei Store or whatever that's called. You cannot run a campaign for that, only on App Store and the Google Play Store, which leads us to know a bit more about apps before we jump and start creating app campaigns. Now, first thing you need to understand is, if you are new to digital marketing, you will hear people referring to app campaigns in a lot of terminologies, right? Basically, so if you hear UAC, which is like a Google name for app campaigns, which is Universal App Campaigns, but then some users, some people within digital marketing industry refer to them as UA or user acquisition app campaigns as well. So it's all the same: UAC, UA, user acquisition campaigns, universal app campaigns. It all means the same thing, which is the app campaign. One more thing you need to understand is, let's say for example you have an app. Let's say Uber Eats has an app, one for Android and one for iOS. If you want to create app campaigns on Google, you need to create separate campaigns for let's say Android campaign and iOS campaign. So this is one thing you need to remember. You cannot have one campaign where you promote both Android and your iOS campaigns. And then one more thing before we jump into app campaigns is something we need to understand, because if you are related to app campaigns, you will hear a lot of keywords like Firebase or MMPs, or Google calls them AAP. Now it's very simple. Like Firebase is analytics for apps. So Firebase is a Google platform like Google Analytics. It's free, where app developers integrate this particular platform in their apps, like we do Google Analytics on websites, to understand. So when you create a Firebase account and you integrate it with your app, you can know how many users came to your app, what pages do they went to, what was the engagement, and stuff like that. So it's like a reporting tool. But apart from reporting, you can do some little bit of stuff here and there in app Firebase as well, which I will tell you. Now, on contrary to Firebase, which is like free Google Analytics for apps, there are other companies who are specialized in this kind of tools. They are called MMPs, or mobile marketing platforms, and Google calls them AAP. It's the same thing. I think it's App Attribution Partner. So what these MMPs do is, you might have heard the words like Adjust or Apps Flyer, or these are probably the most popular, and Branch.io. So what they do is, if you have an app, if your company owns an app, now most probably you will have one of these platforms, which are paid platforms, which I mentioned, like AppsFlyer or Adjust, which are MMPs. What they basically do is, you buy their subscription, you integrate them with your app, and within these platforms, let's say Adjust and within AppsFlyer, whichever you use, you can have a detailed report on your app. To give you an example, for example, if I have an app, just like, let's say, Uber Eats or Uber, or any kind of app. Now when I subscribe to Adjust or AppsFlyer or any other MMP, I integrate it with my app. Within Adjust platform or the MMP platform, I will be able to see how many people opened my app today, what kind of actions did they do, how many of them booked food orders, how many of them did subscribe to Uber Eats Pro, and how many of them added to the cart, what was the source, where did they come from, how many new people installed my app, out of those how many registered my app. So you will be able to kind of do all of this reporting in these MMPs. Now the other use of these MMPs is, for example, because you can create these kind of events in an MMP. Let's say, for example, I am an e-commerce company and I have an app where people order, just like Amazon. Now I can create an event that whenever, let's say, somebody orders or adds something to the cart in my app, I create an event for that. And that event I can pass or link it to my Google Ads to use that as a conversion event. So I can optimize my Google Ads campaigns towards that particular event, right? So this is, for now, this is more than enough for you to understand, and I hope this is clear. If it's not, I'll link some I'll put some links in the description below where you can read more about them, or you can just hear all of this conversation again, and you can rewind this video and understand, and this is more than enough at this moment to understand. Okay, so when we talk about Google Ads, app campaigns in Google Ads, there are 3 types of campaigns you can run, right? To just give you a brief idea, as I mentioned before, the first one is app install campaign. This type of campaign is used where the objective is just to increase installs, right? Now obviously, as the name suggests, this type of campaign will be targeted or shown to people who do not have your app, right? So for example, if Amazon runs an app install campaign, it will be only shown to people who do not have an app, because the objective, this is an install campaign, the objective of this campaign is to increase installs on that particular app, right? Then the second one is app engagement. Now this type of campaign is only available to the publishers or to the advertisers whose app have more than 250k installs, right? So in order to run an engagement campaign, app engagement campaign, your app needs to have 250,000 installs. If your app does not have that many installs, cannot run app engagement campaign. Let's say I'm a big company, let's say Amazon again, right? They have millions, probably billions of app installs. Millions of people have installed their app. But what they see is a lot of people are inactive users. They do not use Amazon as often. Let's say if they have 100 million installs, 100 million users have installed their app, but only 10 million generally, use Amazon to order. But what Amazon does is, apart from going after new customers and acquiring new customers, what they want is the people who already installed the app, they should use their app, because it does not make sense just to install. Installs is like a vanity metrics for most of the advertisers. No matter if you have millions of installs, but nobody is using your app to order, to whatever your business is about, it doesn't make sense. And to kind of re-engage those users, for example, I have Amazon app on my phone, and let's say in the last 60 days, I did not order anything. So Amazon will create these engagement campaigns to the people, and it will be targeted to the people who already have the app to kind of come back to Amazon and make orders. Like, it can be an offer as well. So they'll send an offer, you know what, there's $10 freebies in your account which you can use, or this is the offer, Black Friday offer, or whatever, right, to re-engage. Or this type of campaign is used by apps which have a huge competition. For example, Taiwan. Now in Taiwan, there are a lot of companies who deliver food. Let's say there is Food Panda, there is Uber Eats, there is Grab On, and things like that. Now these kind of apps have a lot of competition, and honestly they don't have much different to offer to the customers. You probably Uber Eats and Food Panda do the same thing. They have the same restaurants, they have the same kind of pricing, they have the same delivery fees. So when usually a user gets used to one particular app, they just kind of forget other app because it's easy for them to reorder and stuff. So those kind of for those kind of advertisers, it's very important, this kind of campaign, to kind of re-engage those users who already have the app to kind of start using their app again. So that is what app engagement campaign is. Then the third one is app pre-registration, and it works only for Android campaigns. Let's say, for example, you are a big company, you have been working on developing a new app or a game for a year, and you don't want to launch your app and then start the traction, get slowly the users and installs, because you kind of want to create a buzz before you actually launch your app on the App Store and Play Store. So pre-registration campaigns are for those advertisers who know that, okay, they're going to publish their app soon, but they kind of want to create a buzz before, so that people can register already for it, and when the app is launched they can directly install and kind of already have an audience base before even launching the app. But it only can be run for Android apps and not iOS apps. Okay, now going to the actual topic of our video, how to run Google App Campaigns, right? So Google App Campaigns, if you want to create Google App Campaigns, you need to kind of roughly follow 3 steps. The first one is you have to set up conversion for your apps, because it's very important. I'll show you later in the video why. And then you have to launch the campaigns, and obviously once you launch the campaigns, you report and optimize. One thing you have to understand is app campaign, to launch an app campaign is probably more straightforward. You don't have much settings, you don't have much things to control. For example, targeting, you cannot target anything except the geography, country, cities, and stuff like that. And there are not a lot of bidding strategies to choose from, and even you don't even need creatives to launch app campaigns. Obviously it's recommended to add creatives from your side, but even if you don't have creatives, you can still launch. So let's jump into our first step, which is set up conversion. So I would recommend that whenever you have to launch an app campaign, the first step is you set up conversion. I will show you why. But to set up conversion, like in our previous videos for web campaigns, it's the same way. We go to settings and we click on conversions, and we click on new conversion event. Let's say, for example, if you start working for a company and you already have this setup, you don't need to worry about it. But if you are just starting fresh, then you need to set up conversions. But if you start working for a client who already has an app for a while, then they would have all of this set up. Now, unlike last time we selected website, but for web app campaigns, we need to create specific conversions for our app. So I'll go here and I'll select app conversions, and when you click on this, you get 3 options to set up conversions, right? Now, to make it easy for you, I'll first go to the second option, which is Google Play. Now, if you want to run campaigns for your Android campaign only, you do not need any hassle. You can directly go ahead and use Google Play, because Google Ads and Google Play is owned by Google. So you can internally set up conversions easily for your Android app, but not for iOS. Let's do it for Android app. So what I can do is I can select Google Play here, and I can create 2 types of conversions. When I say conversions, what it means is, because if I want to run app install campaigns, I want to know that the app was actually installed. Now, for Google Ads to know that app was installed after somebody clicked on the ad, they need to something to count that how many people installed the app. So here, the easiest way is to use Google Play conversion event, because Google Play again is owned by Google, so they can internally pass the information to Google Ads about, 100 people clicked on your ads from your Google Ads account, and 20 of them actually installed the app successfully. Or let's say you are an app, let's say an e-commerce website, e-commerce app. Now for you, only installs does not matter, because you want to also know that how many people actually who clicked from the campaign actually ended up buying something. So you can actually create an event to pass on information that how many people did an in-app purchase, right? So basically, if you want to do it for the first time, I would suggest to create both events separately, one for install conversion event and one for app install. Then you can, let's say, optimize for both or only in-app purchases, which I'll show you while creating the campaign. But let's focus on creating the event. So let's say first, as I told you, I'll create Google Play install, and I'll click on continue. I'll name it installs, and it's asking me that which mobile app I want to create. Now you do not need to have access to the app to create Google Play conversion events, so you can directly select here. Let's say, for example, we want to run this campaign for Uber Eats. So Uber Eats food delivery, this is the app. Okay, value, measure your ad performance by setting a value for each conversion. Do not use a value because an install does not have a value unless you are an app where each install is of certain value for you. I'll not change any of these windows, which I have already explained in the previous videos what they mean, and I'll click on create to continue. Okay, and I'll click on done. Okay, one thing, because this ad account has a lot of installs already created, conversions already created. So in your case, if you're just creating first one, you'll just see one. So I forgot to mention here, I'll just change the name so that's not confusing. For example, installs for Uber Eats. This is just for my reference, right? And as I told you, then we have to create one more. For this we created for our installs. We will create one more. We'll again go to app, Google Play. Now this one will create for in-app purchases. So I'll select in-app purchases Uber Eats. I'll always suggest to add the name of the app in the end if you are, like, let's say, a freelancer or your company has multiple apps, so that it's easy for you to kind of remember. I'll select Uber Eats. Select how many conversions to count per click or interaction. Now what it's asking is, let's say, for example, if a user installed our app, which is Uber Eats, every time they make a purchase in the app, do you want to count all the conversions or just one? So it depends on how you want to report. For example, if I was working with Uber Eats, I'll obviously count every conversion to see how many, for example, one particular click from a campaign that user installed the app, and then how many orders did they make. It obviously should be attributed to the campaign, and I will select every, and rest of the things I'll leave as default and click on this. So now we created an in-app purchase conversion, and we created an installs conversion. Now if I was to create a campaign for Android app of Uber Eats, we are good to go. We don't need anything else, right? But in case you want to also promote your iOS campaign and have a app campaign for your iOS app, then you obviously need to create certain conversions for your iOS app as well. Now for that, we'll again go to app, and obviously, as I told you, Google Play is only for Android. Now for your iOS, you need to use any of the two, which is Google Analytics 4, Firebase, or third-party app analytics. Now obviously you can, for Android you can use all the three, but this one was specifically for Android, that's why I showed you first. But you can use Firebase conversion events for Android as well. So the process is same for iOS and Android, but I cannot do that here because I don't have access to Firebase or any third-party analytics app using my personal ID, but it's very straightforward. So for example, as I told you, if you are working for a company or a client or yourself, to set up conversions through Firebase, your app needs to have a Firebase account integrated, right? Now let's say you're not working with Firebase, you are working with third-party MMP, which I told you before, let's say Adjust or AppsFlyer, Branch.io, or whatever. You need to have that app you need to have that, your app should have set up that particular MMP within your app. Let's say the process is same. Let's say, for example, if your app, let's say iOS as well as Android app, has Google Analytics 4, which is Firebase integrated, you will select this option. You'll click on continue. Now there are no linked accounts. So for example, my account should have access to that particular Firebase account as well, using the same Gmail ID which I'm accessing this Google Ads account with, sanatoviranads@gmail.com. Then it will appear here. I'll select that, and whatever events I have created in Firebase, let's say in-app purchase, order, added to cart, or whatever events of my app I have created there, I can just import them here. It appears as a list, and then I can use any of those. So I hope this is clear. It's very straightforward. Don't get complicated as far as you have access. I'll put some links in the description below where you can read how to stepwise link your Firebase or your MMPs. For example, to give you an idea, let's go back to conversions, new conversion, and app. This for example, your app is using Adjust. You click on third party, click on continue, here linked accounts, create an ID. So you see all the MMP accounts supported by Google Ads. Let's say AppsFlyer, Adjust, Branch, Kochava, Singular, and all. Let's say your app is using Adjust. You click on here. For your Android app, you name your app Uber Eats and create link ID. Now it will ask you, give you this link ID. You will go to your Adjust, put it there, and this Google Ads will be linked. It's as simple as that. So now we are done with our first step, which is how to set up conversions. Now we set up conversions for Android, but I showed you how you can do it for your iOS campaign as well. Or if you have Adjust, probably you will do conversion tracking through Adjust on both iOS and Android. So it's very straightforward. Don't feel that it's complicated. Now we go to our next step, which is setting up an app campaign, right? We have the conversion set up. So I'll go to my Google Ads account. I'll go here to campaigns, click just like any other campaign. I'll select new campaign. And within here, you will have to select app promotion. Once you click on app promotion, there's just one type of campaign under it. And then you have the three options, which I showed you before, which is app installs, app engagement, and pre-registration. Now let's first try to set up app install campaigns, right? What I'll do is the second option it'll ask me is select the mobile app platform. As I told you, each campaign can be either done for Android or iOS. Let's say we'll do it for Android. The process is the same. Look up your app. I'll do Uber Eats, and then campaign name. I'll say UAC. By the way, some people call install app campaigns as UACI or ACI, and some for engagement campaigns they call ACE. So if somebody comes to you and says, can you run ACE campaigns for us, understand that they're talking about universal app campaign in Google Ads engagement type, not the first type install, the second one. So this one, some people call it ACI, and this I for installs, and this one people call ACE, E for engagement. Let's say UAC installs November 2022. I'll name it anything. Uber Eats. Click on continue. As I told you, there are not much options when it comes to app install campaigns. So I'll select, let's say, United Arab Emirates or wherever I want to target, or the whole world. Location targeting, the same options here, presence in regular and people interested in locations, which I have explained before. Select language your customer speaks. I'll select all languages and I'll click on next. Then it's asking me my daily budget. Let's say I'll put 100 dirhams. What do you want to focus on? This is the only setting you can do in app install campaigns, which is bidding. Okay, now when we go to bidding, you see that the first option you get is what do you want to focus on? You get three options. We'll go through them one by one. The first one is install volume. So it's just you're telling Google that regardless of anything, I just want to focus on how many people install my app. And then how do you want to track install volume? As I told you before, for Google Ads to know that how many people install the app, you need to create a conversion event event for installs. So because in our case we just have created through Google Play, so we'll select that one. If you are using, let's say, Adjust or Kochava or anything, and you have imported install event, conversion event from there, then it will be listed here. Because we just have created this one, it just shows us this one. So I'm telling Google that I want to focus on generating as many installs as possible, and you can know how many people install the app from this campaign after clicking on the ads from this event which we created. And what kind of users do you want to target? Users likely to perform in-app action or all users. So obviously we are telling Google that focus on generating a lot of installs, but target mostly people who are likely to perform an action, right? In-app action. And it's telling us which action is most important for you. So we are saying in-app purchases, because that's what makes sense for a company like Uber Eats. For them, the most important thing is how many people actually order. If they get millions of installs, nobody orders, it doesn't make sense for them. So yes, in this case, we are telling them, telling Google that generate a lot of installs, but also focus on people who are likely to do an in-app action. And then target cost per install, because we told Google that we want to focus on installs. So it will tell you what is your bidding, how much are you willing to spend for each install. So you'll have to do a little bit of research for your country, for example, for UAE. And one thing you have to remember is Android cost per installs are a bit cheaper than iOS. So for example, I know for UAE, for Android, it's around 2. Sometimes it varies a lot. For some apps we get 0.75 dirhams, and for some we get 2.5. So I'll start with 2, let's say, for this app, and then I'll see the performance. Then I can, if I see that the campaign is not spending then the daily budget, then I'll increase it. If I see that campaign is spending daily budget, I'm getting a lot of installs, I'll keep decreasing it until I find that point. Now that was about install volumes. Now in case of, for example, if I was running campaigns for Uber Eats, I don't care about install volume. I care about how many people install and then purchase. So in that case, you will tell Google that what do you want to focus on? In-app actions. That's it. Regardless, I don't care about installs. If you bring me only 100 installs, they should perform this action or order. So what action? Because we just have Google Play. What do you want? How do you want to track install volume? Because even if you are focusing on in-app actions, you still Google still needs to know how many people installed. For that, we just have one option here, Google Play, because that's what we created. And which actions are most important for you? So because we created in-app purchases, that we created a conversion event for install, and only one in-app action, which is in-app purchases for Google Play, which is like by default. So we just have one option. Now if you were using Adjust and you have imported let's say 3 conversion events, one for how many people successfully registered on the app, how many people added to the cart, how many people actually did successful order, all the 3 will appear here. Obviously you can choose any of those, but still you will probably use how many people successfully ordered. So that is where you will select. If you have multiple conversion events, you will have to select one of them, and then target cost per action. Now if you remember, if I select here install volume, then I have to say that how much I'm willing to pay for each install. But when I select in-app actions, now the option here changes. It does not say target cost per install, it says target cost per action. Now in this case, you'll have to tell Google that how much you are willing to pay for each of this conversion, which is in-app purchase, for each order basically. So obviously that will be much higher than cost per install, because if when I work with Uber Eats, they will tell me that every order, our CPA, cost per acquisition or cost per order, should be 10 dirhams. So I'll put that here and accordingly see if the campaign is not spending, I'll have to increase it, and if it does spend, then I'll have to decrease it to see which point the campaign does not stop spending the daily budget. It also gives you a suggestion here, but it's never any good. So, and then I click on next, and then that's all you do in an app campaign. Honestly, there's nothing you can do much in terms of targeting. App install campaigns, you cannot do anything, no audience targeting, nothing. Then you are the last step is here to create the ads. Now, as I told you before, in-app campaigns, or I mean app install campaigns, you don't even need creatives, because even if you just go ahead and save it, it will save without anything, and these are the type of ads that will appear, and Google Ads will kind of pull your assets from Google Play Store. For example, it will show you on display, this is how your ads will appear. Uber Eats, this is your probably the logo installed on Google Play Store. Then you can see how it will appear on search ads if somebody is searching for, let's say, food delivery apps. And also your ads will appear on Google search, but you do not control that what keywords my app should appear. Google will automatically choose based on the category of your app and what information, headlines, descriptions you have put in your app store listing. This is how your ads will appear with the install CTA on YouTube. This is how it will appear like this. And then discover, this is how it will appear, and it will automatically pull banners. Then Google Play, this is how it will appear. But the thing here to understand is whether what is recommended. Obviously it is recommended to add your custom headlines and your descriptions and your images and videos, but also these are helpful because, for example, you cannot rely on this. Let's say Amazon or Uber Eats has a Black Friday sale where you can order food free from 5,000 restaurants for the next 1 week. Now obviously there is no way for you to put that messaging, so you can add headlines specific or your image banners which talk about that kind of offer. And it's also recommended, even if you don't have an offer, it's recommended to have your own banners and descriptions and customize it and play around, because you can add a lot of headlines, test multiple headlines, then see which one is doing better. Because this is generic, let's say Uber Eats food delivery. What I can add here is, let's say I add, it makes a huge difference. I say Uber Eats order from 5,000 restaurants, delivery in 15 minutes. Okay, you see this even this looks more attractive, obviously. Here, food delivery. Okay, this one will not change. Okay, it takes some time to update. And then you have headlines which you can add up to 5, then you have descriptions which you can add up to 5 and keep testing, because these things really matter. And then images, you can add multiple images. There are 3 sizes basically, which I'll link in the description below. It's 1200 cross 1200, 1200 cross 1500, and 1200 cross 627. And then videos, obviously you cannot upload videos. You have to use your, if you have like, let's say, video ads, you upload it to YouTube and then use those links here. For app install campaigns, it's recommended to have 6 seconds videos, because you quickly give your message and prompt your users to install your app. And then HTML, you can add banners, HTML5 banners, and that is it. So I'll click on next here. It's very straightforward. There's not much targeting available in app install campaigns. And even for iOS, it's the same process, except in the beginning where we selected Android, you just have to select iOS and search for your iOS app. Maybe the name is different or whatever. Even if it's the same name, you have to select that there. Okay, now that we are done with our UAC install campaigns, now it is time to set up our UAC engagement campaign. It's not much different, honestly. The only difference is probably the audiences we can target in UAC engagement campaigns, because as I told you, an engagement campaign will be targeted to users who already have installed the app, right? So first we'll have to create a particular audience. There's one additional step. You will have to create an audience if you do not have an audience created in your Google Ads to create these UAC campaigns. Now let's take an example of our Uber Eats. Let's say we have to create an UAC engagement campaign for them, right? Now obviously Uber Eats, try to imagine what kind of audiences would they like to create to target in their engagement campaigns. One, probably people who have not ordered in last 30 days or 60 days or 90 days, right? Or people who have been frequently ordering, to create a campaign and target them with a coupon or an offer specific to them, right? So that audience you will first have to create before you target them in the engagement campaigns. Now, there is something you need to remember about engagement campaigns, that there are only 3 types of audiences you can create in an engagement campaign. The first rule is, in an engagement campaign, you can only target audiences which are linked to device IDs, either Android device IDs, which is ADID, or IDFA, which is for Apple devices and identifier for Apple. The 3 types of audiences you can target in engagement campaigns is, first is app users, your app users. It can be users who have been active recently, as I told you. Okay, users who ordered in more than 5 times in last 1 month. You want to probably create a campaign, give them an offer. Or users who have took a certain action. Let's say people who recently have subscribed to a trial version of your pro version, like Uber Eats has this Uber Eats Pro version where you pay monthly fees, and in the next 30 days you will have free delivery or something, right? Like Zomato Gold or Panda Pro for Panda Pro app. So probably you want to have a campaign targeted to only those users, right? To promote a particular restaurant and an offer to them. And then the third option is users who haven't taken an action. So this goes back to, let's say, people who haven't ordered in last 30 days, 60 days, whatever, right? So this is the first category, which is app users. You can target on, you can create an audience based on any of this combination, right? And then the second one is device IDs. You can directly have device IDs uploaded to your Google Ads and create an audience there, or you can push these through your CRM. Let's say you have 50,000 device IDs of all the devices who have recently installed the app and they have registered but they have not ordered yet. You can have that kind of data. The third one is the Firebase audiences. Now, if your app already has Firebase integrated within, then you can create different kind of audiences in Firebase and push it. The same, you can use the same logic again. People who have not ordered, people who have ordered, or whatever your need is. I gave you some examples as well. So these are the only 3 ways you can create audiences and subtypes there. But always remember, I'm reiterating again, for engagement campaigns, you can only target audiences where the audience is comprised of either ADID or IDFA. All right. So in this case, let's go ahead and create an engagement campaign of users who have, let's say I have device IDs of 50,000 users who have recently registered on our app, but they have not made a purchase yet. And we want to create an engagement campaign to make them order, right? So to do that, I'll go to Google Ads again. I'll go to tools and settings. I'll create audience, go to audience manager. And let's say I go to plus, because I'm uploading a list. So I will have to select a customer list type here. Let's say I will say not ordered in last 30 days Android. I'll go here, upload device. You'll have to select mobile device IDs. Otherwise, you will not be able to use this audience in your engagement campaigns. Let's say I'll select Android. I'll go Uber Eats. And now I'll have to upload that file. If you just have the device IDs, you're not sure how to configure that file. So you can just use this template, download this. I'll download it here. I'll open it. So this is how it looks like. So what I always do is I just delete all these rows, they are information. If you keep it there, it will still work. So mobile device IDs, it has already given 2 examples here to show you how to put them, how the syntax. So these are the Android device IDs. I'll just extend this. Let's say this is my file. Let's say these are the device IDs I have. So once you put your device IDs here, all you need to do is file, save, and close this. Now I'll go here, choose. So I'll just upload it. So this file is uploaded. This data collection is being shared with Google in compliance with Google policies, and click on upload. Now, remember that your list has been created, but once you upload, let's say 50,000 device IDs, it will still take some time for Google to populate that, right? Google has to check the match rate that, okay, how many of those device IDs, maybe some device IDs are from, you uploaded from 6 years ago, that those devices are broken, that nobody uses them to connect to the internet. So Google will kind of check the match rate and it will take some time for populate. But let's go here and create our first engagement campaign because we have our audience already created which we want to target. By the way, these audience, the other audience types I mentioned, because we cannot explain all of them in this video, it will take like a day. So I'll put a link in the description where you can read about all of them, how to upload and create them. It's very straightforward. So let's go with our engagement campaign, new campaign. App promotion, we'll select in this case app engagement, select Android. What is your app? Uber Eats again. I'll click on continue. I'll name it UACE November 2022 Uber Eats. UAC November 2022 Uber Eats. I'll select again, let's say United Arab Emirates. Languages, all languages. Let's say my daily budget is 100 dirhams. What are the in-app actions you want to focus on? So in your engagement campaigns, if you remember, in our install campaigns we had three options. We had install volume as well, but you will not have install volume here because this is an engagement campaign. It's supposed to target only people who already have installed, so it will not contribute to the install volume in any way. So I'll select in-app actions here, and there's only one action, in-app purchases. I'll use that as optimization. So in this case, let's say we select 10 dirhams again, and then we have the November start dates and end dates, whatever you want to select, let's say, and then click on save. Okay, now once you click on this, it will take you to the next step, which is the ad group and uploading the actual ads. Just like your app install campaign, UACI, you can skip these ads again, but it's always recommended because, for example, in this case, let's say we are targeting the people who installed in the last 30 days. We uploaded that list, but they did not make the first order. Let's say we have a particular offer for them. So maybe on your first order, free delivery. So we will upload those kind of headlines, descriptions, and videos and images where we highlight that offer, because it does not make sense. Your app has an offer and you use these automated assets. It does not tell anything. You have to mention that in your headlines and your images, right? And before we go there, I want to show you there's one more option here which was not in app install campaigns, because when somebody clicks on an app install UACI campaign, they go to Play Store or App Store, depending on whether they use Android or iOS. But in here, these people already have an app. So it's asking you app URL, which section of once somebody clicks on this ad, okay, and for example, you are running an ad, okay, first delivery free for you, for the people who have installed the app in last 30 days and did not order. Once they click on that, where do you want to take them? To the home page, or you have within an app, you have a section where that offer is mentioned. So that's what you will have to put here. Now it's called a deep link. So for Android campaigns, you can just select directly, let's say set to home page, or you can take them to a particular section of the page. Generally it looks like this. Let's say Uber Eats / this is how a deep link looks like. So this will generally take them to the home page, or if you want to take them to a particular page on your particular section of your app, so you will have to create that in Firebase or any of your MMPs you are working on, or ask your developers to do it. So then it will look something like this, maybe C is equal to offer 1. So this is our deep link. So what it does is, I'll again reiterate, because this campaign will target only people who already have installed the app. So once they click on this ad, where do you want to take them within the app? Like in web campaigns, let's say I'm running a campaign For my Senator Veeran Ads website, I'm promoting my courses. If somebody clicks on a course, they should go to senatorveeranads.com/store, right? Similarly, for app, these are called deep links, and these deep links can be generated in Firebase or any other MMPs you are working on. As I told you before, the MMPs are not only used for reporting. You can create conversion events and deep links there as well. If you are not the one who is working with deep links and your MMPs, then you can talk to the person who is working and tell him, I need a deep link where people should go to this particular section of the app, right? So this is where you select this. This is one difference in ACI and ACE campaigns. Then you upload your headlines and descriptions, images, videos. If you just have images, you can upload headlines, description, and images. If you just have videos, you can upload headline, description, and videos. If you have both, you can upload all of them. Anyways, all of them are optional. And then you will see this section, which was not in our ACI campaign, which is ad targeting and which audience do you want to target. So I'll go here, browse. You see, not ordered in last, the one we created with our Android IDs. I'll select this one and I will click on save and continue. Now what will happen is this engagement campaign will be only targeted to the device IDs I uploaded, which are people who installed in last 30 days but have not made their first order yet. You can come up with a lot of other use cases based on what your requirement is, but this is the process. And you cannot only target this audience. I told you there are three different ways to create these audiences, but they should include only IDFA and Android IDs. Links in the description below. And once I click on save, and this campaign will be created. Okay, headlines and descriptions is mandatory. Sorry, I forgot that. So I'll say, let's say Uber Eats offer for new customers and first order free. This will make them make their first order, this campaign, right? So I'll click on save. So that's all about UAC engagement campaigns, right? Continue campaign, and that is it. Now, the third option we have is, honestly, it's very straightforward. It's for apps which are not created, which are not live yet. So for example, I select app, then we select app pre-registration. You will have to use the app because this is not eligible for pre-registration because I don't have any app which is eligible for pre-registration, which is not launched yet. But if you have, you'll be able to select it here. There are no other options there. So it's very straightforward. So that's all about app campaigns and install campaigns as well as engagement campaign. Now, once you are done with your campaigns, what you have to do is, let's say, for example, this is your campaign, Uber Eats. So in this case, it will show you some specific metrics. What you will do is you will see, okay, what is the cost per conversion, cost per install. So based on these, or in-app actions, how many installs, what are the cost per participated in-app action. So you'll be able to see how much you're spending for each install and how much you're spending for each in-app action or conversion. So for example, in our case, a conversion is an order. So I'll be able to see after starting this campaign that how much we are spending for generating each order, how much we are spending for each new install. And that will tell me how good this campaign is doing. The only optimization you can do is in ACI campaigns is change the headlines, descriptions, images, videos, and in your ACE campaigns, apart from creative, you can always test different kind of audiences. That is one thing. The second thing is you can choose the bidding cap we selected for cost per install and cost per engagement. Keep reducing that if it's too high for you and see an optimized level. These are honestly all the optimizations you can do for ACI and ACE campaigns. So in case you're wondering where these ads will appear, the app campaign ads, they appear on Google Search, App Store, Google properties like Gmail and Discover. These ads appear on YouTube, both static as well as if you have videos in these campaigns, and they appear on all GDN websites and apps. If you're curious to know, just go ahead in your Google Ads account, create a dummy campaign, and in the preview section, you will be able to select all of these placements and see how these ads will appear and show. So I hope this video was helpful in any way. Thank you so much. I will see you in the next one.